Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Band of Barbers podcast. As always, I'm your host, Devon Evans. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tonight, I got a question for you guys. Are you a one trick pony? Did you get into this industry and decide you were only going to deal with one type of hair, one texture of hair, a select few styles, and things of that nature, or did you get into the industry and decide that you were going to be able to, yes, focus on a few things, but you were going to have working knowledge and be able to survive in any environment? And my point to that is that if you box yourself in, you limit yourself as far as income is concerned. And this is what I mean by that. You limit yourself if all you're doing is one specific group, one specific style, a small variation. You may do an undercut or something like that. But if you only limit yourself to that, and that's the only things you know how to do, and you are currently at this moment a walk-in barber in your shop, and your shop has a diverse clientele base, or you want to open up your own shop one day, you are going to have a firm foundation in the basics. The basics are what are going to set you apart. Yes, you can go into a style, you can do all of these different sorts of things. That's wonderful. Great. I'm happy for you. But guessing leaves space for inaccuracy. Now, I'm not telling you this from a place of a high horse looking down. I'm telling you this from a place of I've been there. I was that barber who, because I had a good enough eye, and I kind of understood a little bit about how the hair grew, how it moved, because I understood those basic things, I could make the hair look like something. Now, I say that to say this. Although I could make it look like something, it did not mean I knew what I was doing. I was literally just guessing. Oh, well, let me try this. Oh, well, let me try this. Oh, well, let me try this. And a 30-minute service might take me an hour. Shoot, could possibly take me an hour and a half. But I didn't have the foundation. I didn't have the basics. I didn't have the things that I needed. And because I didn't have the things that I needed, I struggled. I struggled a lot. Many a frustrated night, many of cut up knuckles from not knowing proper tool and hand placement. Uh, all of those things. I mean, I just struggled. And I had to spend hours and practice and doing all of these things, trying to get and understand those basic things that I missed. And it was very unfortunate. It was very frustrating because had I gotten it earlier, I wouldn't have had to go through that process, or the learning curve would have been a lot different. But I didn't have that. I didn't have that at all. I had um I just didn't I didn't have those skills. And so what I ended up having to do was I paid for it not only in money, but I paid for it in blood, sweat, and tears. Frustration and anger, upset and mad because I just do not understand what's going on. And I've been there, but here was the issue that those services that I did not know how to do, those were the clients that really wanted to sit in my chair. The services that I knew how to do, those clients didn't want to sit in my chair. They didn't trust me. They did not trust me. And that's what it was. That's what it was. They didn't trust me. So I had to make a name for myself off of services that I was not confident in. Because the services that I could do when the clients came in, they wanted to do an interview. Oh, how long you been doing this? What's going on? So on and so forth. And I'm gonna be honest with you. At the time, the services that I was confident in, still to me, in my eye, were not up to par to what others were doing in the shop with me. It is what it is. It just wasn't up to par. And I had to accept that. That was something that hurt me. Right? It really did. And so, guys, I'm just saying, like, don't be this one trick guy and you think, because here's the thing. If you're a one trick pony, you are probably going to get into a location or look for a location where you feel like there's other one trick ponies. You're not going to get into a location where you feel like you can learn and you can struggle a little bit and you can fight because you think, oh man, I got my license, I'm good now. I was in a class today and I was talking to the instructor, and the instructor was throughout the few classes that I've been to, the instructor would always ask this question, like, where do you work, yada yada yada, and then she would say one thing, and it kind of stood out to me. She'd say, she'd ask the people, she said, "Are you on the floor yet?" And they'd say, "No, I'm still in training." And it really just, like, I heard it a couple times, and so today I decided to ask. I said, "Okay, now you've been a manager, you've been all of these, you've done all of these, held these different positions." I said, "What is it, or what's going on as far as, you saying like what are they training for?" And she kind of broke it down to me, and she said to me, she said, um, I don't like working in places. She said some places will bring you in and just let you out on the floor. She said, "I never worked like that as a manager. I never worked like that. You had to train. We had to do some things." And so I was like, "Well, what are you looking for?" She said, "Oh, it could be different things. It could be very different things." So I was like, "Okay, but instead of explaining to me and what I needed to realize, that it was actually really important. Instead of explaining to me what were the things that she trained on, she said she gave me her list of what she looked for when she hired an employee. And I was like, ooh, that's good. And so one of the things that stood out to me that she said, I want to know your work ethic. She said, I want to know your work ethic and I want to know if you're coachable. And she said something that I wholeheartedly believe. I still believe it. She said to me, she said, I can teach anyone the technical skills behind it. And I'm the same way. I can teach you what I do if you're willing to be coached and if you're willing to show up. Because if you're only willing to show up once a week, twice a week, you're a liability. I'm not even, and I'm going to tell you the truth, I'm not even thinking about you. You're a liability. You show up twice a week and you're like, all right, yeah, I'm here, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Teach me whatever you got. So, and a lot of those people are, in my opinion, from what I have seen, a lot of those people are the one-trick ponies. They don't want to learn anything else because they think that they can survive off what they know. Here's the unfortunate misconception. To the one-trick ponies out there. You one-trick ponies. I'm saying this and I say this and I mean what I say. A lot of times the one trick you have is the most basic of skills. And guess what? Most of the time, generally, everybody has those skills. Everybody has that basic skill. So what's going to set you apart? I'm in some communities, like, people will have the same barber longer than they have the same girlfriend. So you think because you come in with this one, oh, I'm nice. Oh, yeah, I'm nice. And you come into this shop because you couldn't open your own shop, which I don't believe fresh out of school you should, but I'm just telling you. Because you couldn't open your own shop, you said, all right, yeah, I'm getting ready to get out here and get all this money. No. People not jumping to sit in your chair. They don't know you. They don't trust you. Like, you have to understand that a client is holding, like, we are image consultants and we provide makeovers for people. Do you think that people is just going to trust it to anybody? The term transformation, as far as haircuts, became big, but like, a lot of times that's what we're doing. We taking years off of people, right? We're turning them from granddad to stepdad, or granddad to, heartthrob. Like, we can change the very look of people with what we do. And your one trick basic fundamentals is not going to cut it. Now, we've talked about barbers being able to make $100,000 or more in a year. Barbers not making $100,000 plus or more in a year based on one trick. This is just my belief. It may be may not be everybody's belief, but it's just they not making $100,000+ a year on one trick. Agree, disagree, however you want to look at it. I'm just telling you from my experience, from my corner of the world. Just not. Right? And so I would suggest that you learn all that you can learn. I would say it may not be something that you're comfortable with, but here's the thing that people who get uh scissor cuts, shear cuts, whatever you want to call them, especially full cut, in my opinion, they pay more. Just saying. The people that have told me numerous times that my prices was too low was people that excite. Man, I had a guy that would drive over like an hour and a half. Actually, he would drive about an hour and a half to come get his haircut. Hour and a half to get a haircut, and he lived in a heavily populated city, but he liked the service I provided, so he came. I I don't know. I don't know. Listen, and I know I brought this up, but I don't know what you guys want me to tell you. But I'm telling you right now that one trick stuff will have you in and out of this industry. You're gonna be somewhere in the wintertime looking for a job, or you're gonna be somewhere in a couple months looking for a job because you are not going to be able to sustain on one trick alone. I just don't believe it. And if you only got one trick in in your repertoire as far as your skill set, if you only got one trick in your skill set, you probably only have one trick as far as your your marketing. So you and your one trick is probably just coming to work. I'm gonna come to work, sit in the shop. Hopefully, if I when I get there, hopefully somebody show up, and you wake up wishing and praying. Right? You don't take no pictures, and now don't get me wrong, I'm real bad when it comes to taking pictures. I've gotten a lot better. I'm working on it. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm doing a lot of new things and everything like that. But for a lot of you, you don't take pictures. You don't like. I got and this is no excuse, but I yeah yeah. It's no excuse, but I have been creating more content besides just doing this podcast. I've been creating more content. I've been taking pictures. I've been doing things. But for a long time that I didn't. A long time I'm just gonna show up to the shop and hopefully somebody whose hair I can cut, they'll cut me in and everything like that. But what do I know? What do I know? And listen, guys, like, yeah, I'm quite a few years into this, but I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot by studying and going around and looking and like I've seen a lot. But eh, you know, It's okay. I don't know, guys. Listen, that was just my thing. Like, I just don't want you guys to like typecast yourself. And if you don't know what typecast means, that like you only play one role. You can play multiple roles. Like you are in a place to become a professional. Now you can get into this industry and only decide to hang out or be with people that fits your dynamic, fits your repertoire, I guess you could say. But I just want you to understand that you and now you don't have to be in a high fashion, you don't have to be in all of these types of things. But I'm just gonna say this, like your clientele, not 7 times out of 10, I said 7 times out of 10, your clientele is probably gonna match who you are as a person, right? They're gonna match in some way who you are as a person. I'm just saying. So you want better in clientele and become a better person because you don't get to go up in price and not change who you and you don't get to go up in price and charge your clients more and not change who you are. All right. But either way, guys, this is Devon Evans. I'm signing off. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We will catch you tomorrow. Thanks again. Don't be a one trick pony. Grow, learn, get a strong foundation. You'll be great. Go do great things. Go be great. Have a good night.